From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
It's one step closer for the potential of body cameras for the first time in Gallatin County Sheriff's Office history. Those details and more from the commissioners and Sheriff Dan Springer tonight.
And the U.S. House returns to work to take up infrastructure bills, but some Democrats are threatening to undo the hard work Senate compromise measure. Coming up, learn why those members seem to be working against the goals of their own party. Interesting. 6:30, the haze unfortunately starting to roll in as your Monday starts to unfold. A classic entrance into a Monday.
Yeah. It is crisp and cool, though.
It is cool.
Very comfortable outside.
It could be worse, that's for sure.
And air quality isn't as bad as what we have been dealing with over the last few weeks, but we're going to notice it pretty subtly by the afternoon. Temperatures right now into the 30s and 40s. 30 degrees this morning in West Yellowstone, 39 in Butte. Generally clear skies outside of the haze. We don't have much going on as far as cloud cover. You can see the winds beginning to pick up on the MSU campus. Temperatures for today right around that 80-degree mark in Bozeman, about low to mid 70s in Butte. But again, a lot of sunshine, a little bit of haze. We'll talk about the expectations, what we expect is going to happen. That's coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thank you, Matt. Just ahead of 6:31 now, rescuers say they have recovered the body of missing hiker Tatum Morell. Morell was reported missing in the Beartooth Mountains in early July. Crews have only now found her body below the Whitetail Gully in a rugged area of the mountains. The recovery team met by her family and the Red Lodge fire rescue personnel at the airport. They believe Tatum was climbing Whitetail Peak when she was caught in a rock slide and suffered fatal injuries. She had backpacked into the area and camped at Shadow Lake on Thursday, July 1st. Her last contact with family was that night. Now, it is believed that she left her tent on July 2nd and then did not return. Tatum Morell was an avid and experienced hiker and who planned to climb 5 mountain peaks over 12,000 feet in the West Fork of Rock Creek near Red Lodge. 6:31 now. Gallatin County Commissioners made a big decision at their last meeting, paving the way to buy body cameras for deputies of the Gallatin County Sheriff's Office. MTN's Cody Boyer explains what that means now and what's next before those cameras make their first appearance.
When it comes to safety and security for both deputies and the communities that deputies serve, folks like the Gallatin County Sheriff's Department say body cams like this one come a long way in catching departments up to speed with the current times. And now body cams here in the county are one step closer to becoming a reality.
Finally, the technology is kind of matching up with what the needs are.
Gallatin County Commissioners met last week one last time before finalizing the county budget with one last question mark, according to Commissioner Zach Brown: body cams and how to store evidence collected from them.
After we talked through it with our IT department and each other, we decided to move forward with the program.
On Friday, commissioners approved $152,900 for the department to purchase WatchGuard cams 2 months after Sheriff Dan Springer brought the proposal to them.
I went into the discussion feeling a little bit split or undecided, and I think we all came out of it feeling excited about the trajectory of the program and that it's going to modernize both the way our sheriff's deputies are policing and add a layer of transparency to that policing.
For a number of years now, we have had in-car cameras, and what we are looking at doing is getting body cameras that integrate with those so that we can then download to a Wi-Fi system into a cloud, and that way have body camera evidence as well as in-car evidence.
That cost is split into 2 parts.
There's a one-time expense that's relatively minor. It's about $25,000 to $30,000 that's actually purchasing the equipment, the cameras themselves.
The second, $129,000 in property taxes, already used to fund county operations, all to expand cloud storage. The sheriff says that will help deputies move from manual video files to much-needed digital space. But in other words, no hike in your taxes.
We were able to take some expenditures that we had already approved off of property taxes, and so it came out somewhere close to a wash.
It'll take a number of months still, but we're excited for the opportunity to have them out there on the street.
The sheriff says once the budget is finalized, deputies will get the cameras within the fiscal year.
The deputies are out there doing what's right, and I know they're doing a great job at the work that they do. They're not the end-all, be-all to all of the the issues that are out there today. On the same token, it is another tool.
Now again, commissioners say this was the final work session to put body cams into the budget. Next week, Tuesday, is when the commission is expected to finalize that budget. In Gallatin County, Cody Boyer, MTN News.
Coming up this Tuesday. Meantime, both Belgrade City Police and the Montana State University Police have body cams in use already. And Bozeman Police Department working on finding a way with the city to finance getting cameras for city officers as well. Well, after a few weeks off, the House of Representatives returns to Washington today. The goal? Take steps to advance the multi-trillion-dollar spending proposal to improve health care and education, as well as lay out the next steps for the bipartisan infrastructure bill. But as our Joe St. George explains, getting both pieces of legislation through the House, anything but a sure thing.
The bill, as amended, is passed.
Like it or not, the U.S. Senate has passed bills and resolutions in recent weeks to address infrastructure, health care, and yes, climate change. And now it's the House of Representatives' turn to take up these efforts. The House is breaking their traditional August recess to return to Washington Monday and begin the process of doing just that.
But one clear fact is emerging here on Capitol Hill. Getting the bipartisan infrastructure deal as well as a multi-trillion-dollar spending proposal through the House of Representatives won't be easy.
Goal number one for Democrats, pass a budget resolution. Passing a budget resolution gives lawmakers the authority to start writing a spending bill that will eventually be voted on. Early proposals indicate this could potentially be historic legislation, impacting everything from paid family leave to free community college. Speaker Nancy Pelosi can only lose 3 Democrats and still advance it, since Republicans are expected to unanimously oppose it. They believe Democrats will hurt the economy with all this spending. However, this group of 9 moderate Democrats, which includes representatives from states like Texas and California, have threatened to undo everything. Why? Well, they want the bipartisan infrastructure bill that's already passed the Senate to be voted on right away before any massive spending proposal vote takes place. That's the opposite of what Speaker Nancy Pelosi wants to do. She wants a vote on the budget first. That's because more progressive members of her caucus think the bipartisan infrastructure bill is too small and they want more spending guaranteed. All of this Democratic infighting is reminiscent of what former President Barack Obama encountered in 2009 and 2010 when he was trying to pass the Affordable Care Act. In the end, that president figured it out with Speaker Pelosi and got his bill passed into law. We will see if President Biden can as well. In Washington, I'm Joe St. George.
6:37 now. Across the country, we've seen debates emerge about personal freedoms versus public health in regard to the COVID pandemic. But these debates aren't new. Newsy's Amber Strong shows us what history has taught us about accepting public health policies.
Once upon a time, cigarette smoke filled airplanes and restaurants, and children rode carefree without a seatbelt in the backs of station wagons. That was then, and this is now.
There's been a lot of conversation lately between public health and personal freedom, especially with the uptick in COVID-19 vaccine and mask mandates, which begs the question, how do we go from those carefree rides in the back of Dad's Chevy to this 5-point harness? Spoiler alert, it didn't happen overnight. Doctors started discussing the importance of lap belts in the 1930s, but widespread seatbelt laws wouldn't come for another 50 years after the Reagan administration put pressure on the auto industry.
The auto manufacturers had to provide other safety precautions like side airbags unless X% of the states actually implemented seatbelt laws. So that actually gave motivation for the manufacturers to go out and campaign for seatbelt laws.
So the government pressured car makers, who pressured the states, and you ended up with cool ads like this one.
Just give it a click. Click it or ticket.
But that doesn't mean consumers were on board.
This is going to affect my freedom, affect my liberty. And it's funny to think about that because nowadays people don't think twice about putting on a seatbelt.
Now, nearly all states have some kind of seatbelt law and additional laws for children, except New Hampshire, where even today adults are not required to buckle up. But the arguments here echo another freedom versus safety debate.
You see how easy it is to keep a man happy? Why not give your husband a carton of Philip Morris cigarettes?
You wouldn't see an ad like this today, but it took years of research before the federal declaration that smoking was a problem.
There was a very strong relationship and probably a causal relationship between heart disease and cigarette smoke.
That report was followed by warnings on the size of smokes and ads pulled from TV. Surgeon General C. Everett Koop then led a relentless government-sponsored campaign to stamp it out completely.
If I had my way, I would say it is just as addictive as heroin or cocaine.
Koop pushed the idea that not only was smoking dangerous, secondhand smoke was a threat to others. Dr. Bruce Wiley, a professor of health policy and management at CUNY, says the industry didn't go down without a fight or a little misinformation.
There was statements by people who ultimately were funded by the tobacco industry that claimed that, oh, there's no problem with tobacco.
It would take until the year 2000 to see smoking disappear completely from U.S. airplanes. Consumers also helped with the push.
We got to a situation where there are enough people who didn't want smoking around them, and so you're actually you're reached an inflection point. If your club or your restaurant allows smoking, then you're actually going to lose customers as a result.
Lee says when it comes down to the acceptance of these current health debates, it will depend on multiple partners, the public, politicians, and people working together. Amber Strong, Newsy, Washington.
Some interesting reminders there for sure. 6:40, let's take a quick break. When we come back, some adults are taking extra steps to limit the spread of COVID with new surge in cases. But researchers are finding kids may be an important vector for the virus as well. What they're saying, coming up. But first, let's check in with Anthony Mason to see what's happening at 7 o'clock on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, we're following two terrifying weather events in the eastern half of the country. We'll show you rescue efforts in Tennessee where flooding swept away homes. Plus, we're in Rhode Island as record rainfall from Tropical Storm Henri lashes the Northeast. Also, only on CBS This Morning, we go to school with Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona and discuss mask mandates and the plan to safely reopen schools. Plus, we'll show you how Gayle and some of music's biggest stars kept the party going backstage after the We Love NYC concert was interrupted by weather. All that and Brothers Osborne in Studio 57 when we see you at 7.